at this time, Mr. 100 miles an hour. I did 120 to try to just catch up to you. Where's your license at? Let me see it again. Next car stop, you're getting your car impounded, and you're not getting it back, okay?
Okay.
All right? Make it to Ocean City and don't be dumb.
What is going on, boys? I'm just getting off work now. It's like 7 o'clock, and I thought today would just be a good day to make a quick video, a story time video. Some people have been waiting on this video. I know I told some friends about it, some really close friends. I vaguely talked about it before when I first started my channel about 10 months ago when I was making my first couple videos. I talked about it a little bit. By the title of the video, you probably already know what happened. So I made some stupid mistakes, and I just thought I'd talk about it for a video for you guys. Let's just jump right into it, guys. So I was headed up to Ocean City, Maryland with my girlfriend in the passenger seat. Going towards the Dead Freddy's car show, and I seen this cop on the right-hand side already pulled someone over. I think it was 65 mile an hour, like most of the way, all the way down there, and it switched to 55. But I didn't notice that it switched to 55 that quick. So, you know, I was real cautious once I saw the cop up on the right-hand side pulling people over. I was like, let me slow down. I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, let me slow down, pull over, you know, in the right lane instead of being the left lane, the fast lane. And I'll just let some cars go past me, and I'll put cruise control on at 60 mile an hour. So I did that. We were cruising for a little bit, like got closer up to the cop, and I see another cop like way up in the distance on the other side of the highway. He turned his lights on and started like really flying down the other side of the highway. I was like, man, they're really out like getting people right now. And I had already slowed down like way before he was even in my visual. I was in the right hand lane, and there was people going past me too on the left hand side of my car, you know what I mean? I was going slow. I was like, man, they're going crazy out here. There, we got one guy pulled over up here on the right, and there's another cop on the other side of the highway flying down. Little did I know the cop on the other side of the highway that was flying was coming for me, because, you know, I had the sports car and going towards the car show. You know how they like to pull people over, and driving a car like this, going to a car show, they're going to try to pull you over for whatever they can. So little did I know he was coming for me on the other side of the highway, flying, you know what I mean? And I had already slowed down. I was already going 60 mile an hour with cruise control on. I had both my feet flat on the carpet, you know what I mean? Just chilling. And I was like, man, look at that. They must have got somebody else too, to my girlfriend. And little did I know he was spinning back around. You know that there's those cop cuts in the highways where they can pull into the middle of the median, the highway kind of, and just sit there and camp out and wait for people. He did one of those, spun around, and he was behind me before I knew it. I was like, what the heck am I getting pulled over for? Like, I have cruise control on, I'm going 60, and like people are passing me in the left-hand lane right next to me. Like, what the heck? So I was really confused and kind of frustrated at the same time, because it was October and work was slowing down a lot, and I had, you know, Christmas was coming up, and I was trying to save a lot of money for Christmas, because I have, you know, her family I have to provide for gifts and stuff, and my family, and I try to be as nice as I can on Christmas. Yeah, I was kind of upset. I was like, man, what do you even pull me over for? I had cruise control on, going slow, people are passing me, and he comes up to the window and he's like, do you know why I pulled you over? I was like, no, not really. I really have no idea. And he's like, well, I got you doing 79 in a 55. And I was, right then, I was like completely heated. I was like, there's no possible way you got me doing 79 in a 55. My cruise control on is at 60. There's one up there too. And there's one behind me. He says I'm going f***ing 79. And then he comes over here after I said I was going 60 on cruise control and says, and gives me 5 over. Little did I know the speed limit was 55, so I kind of like admitted to going 5 miles over the speed limit to him. And he's like, oh, okay, well, license, registration, insurance, all that. And I was like, okay, well, here you go. I was kind of mad. I didn't say like, here you go. I was kind of like, you know, take it, go ahead, do your thing, give me a ticket. So he comes back and he gives me the ticket, and the ticket says measured speed 79, and he charged me with going 60 because I admitted to going 60 when it was, you know, 55. So it's kind of bull crap. I was really mad after that, and I was like, well, this is bull crap. want to have to pay this ticket or have to come all the way back down here for court because I'm from out of state, you know what I mean? They do that so you don't come back, you know what I mean? They know people are coming from far away to get, you know, to the car show, and they know they're probably just going to pay the ticket instead of coming all the way back for court, you know, and try to fight $100 ticket. It probably cost me more in gas to come back. I was heated. I was like, yeah, thanks a lot. And he got back in his car, and I made a stupid mistake. I took off, and I was pedal to the metal, guys. He didn't go anywhere. He was sitting right behind me, and I took off. And before I even hit third gear, I looked down. I was going like 80 something. I don't even really remember because I wasn't paying attention to the limit. I was just trying to get back up to the highway speeds, you know what I mean? And before I knew it, he pulled me back over a second time.
What's your argument this time, Mr. 100 miles an hour. I did 120 to try to just catch up to you. Where's your license at? Let me see it again. Next car stop, you're getting your car impounded, and you're not getting it back, okay?
Okay.
All right? Make it to Ocean City and don't be dumb.
He just lit back up and pulled me over again, and then I knew I was probably in some crap because, you know, this car takes off pretty fast. If you're, you know, heated in the moment, which I was, I sped, you know what I mean? It was way over 60 mile an hour or whatever I did before. So, and you know, I made a mistake. I was, you know, it's one of those things. It was just a heat of the moment type thing. So he pulled me back over. So what is the reason for speeding this time, or whatever the heck he said? I was going that fast that time. I was definitely a little faster than what the speed limit was. So he gave me a measured speed of 98 in a 55 and a charged speed of 98 in a 55. He also hit me with reckless driving. I didn't have my insurance card on me. It was on my phone. Speeding, which is a separate offense than reckless driving over 90 mile an hour. Turns without signal because I was merging into the highway without my signal. And my rear tail lamps, my rear tail lights were tinted black at the time. So he hit me with everything possible that he could, which I kind of understand, you know what I mean? After I like cooled down and everything, I was just like, yeah, well, he's just doing his job, you know what I mean? He's just trying to make money for the state, you know, for whatever the county or whatever they're serving, because, you know, nice cops doing nice things for people, even though people think, you know, if you're a cop, you want to do nice things for people, they don't make money, you know what I mean? You got to kind of meet your quota every month. You know how cops work, but I know for sure that cops need to be making money, pulling people over and giving people tickets for whatever they possibly can before the month's over and stuff like that. So yeah, so he pulled me over again a second time, and you know, I got the speeding ticket the first time, the 60 and a 55, and hit me with those 5 offenses, and I ended up having to get a lawyer because I wasn't really sure what to do. I've never had to deal with anything like that before. I was really mad. I didn't pull off again. I waited for him to go, you know, back around to do his, you know, his thing again, start pulling people over again. I just sat there and left my car off because I was just sitting there heated. So it was one of those moments where like you knew you messed up and you shouldn't have reacted out of, you know, the moment, the heat of the moment, but I did anyway, and I had to deal with it. So I don't have anything against cops or anything like that, but you know, there are unreasonable cops out there, or there's like how there's really nice cops out there. I've met with some really nice cops, you know, being pulled over before. I had 5% on my 99 Mustang and my Cobra, and I had on the whole entire car, windshield, and the sides, everything was 5%, and I knew that was heavily illegal, and I got pulled over for doing like 5 over or something like that, and he was just really nice about it. So he just let me go. That cop did. He said something about the tin. He's like, man, you can't have that tin on there. And I was like, oh man, I didn't know. I'll just take it off. He's like, oh, you don't have to take it off right now. You take it off whenever you want, but just letting you know that you can't have that tin on there. I was like, okay, that's fine. So that cop didn't give me a ticket or nothing. He was really nice. Really depends on what kind of cops you get. So So yeah, I got charged with 5 different charges after getting pulled over for speeding. So it's like 6 charges right there in one day, and that was not, ideal. About 3 weeks after that, I, had to go to court for all that stuff. The court of common pleas, if you guys have ever dealt with something like this. You say not guilty, they're gonna send you to another place, and they recommend that you get a lawyer and stuff. So that's what I ended up having to do, because I even went to the court of common pleas, and I was just like, to the judge, I didn't know what to do. I was, I've never dealt with it before. I just thought, they gave me a deal of just pleading guilty to the reckless and the 90, and all the other things were going to be dropped. But I thought that was a good deal, but it wasn't. Apparently it would have suspended my license, and it would have done a whole lot of other stuff. So I had to end up getting a lawyer for that. But not too long after that happened, like 3 or 4 weeks later, I ended up being late to work one time, and I was acting out again in the car. I went around some people, kind of, maneuvered around them real fast, because, some people drive like 10 miles under the speed limit, and I wasn't even speeding. I was just, trying to get to work because people were driving so slow. And I have the list of stuff right here that I was charged with a second time. Aggressive driving, failed to signal, passing on right, and following too closely. And there was no speeding or anything. I was just, in a rush to get to work. But the cop lit me up immediately after he seen that, because he was trailing me. I guess he ran my plate and stuff, and I didn't even know he was back there for a while. He knew that I had the charges from before. He seen all that after he ran my plate, and then he seen how I was driving in traffic trying to get to work, and he lit me up again. And he charged me with all 4 of those charges. That's 9 charges in like a month. It's kind of crazy, but I got pulled over. I didn't record that one. I was really, really nervous and shaking, because I already had those things pending on me, and court was coming up for those, and I was just, I was really scared. I was like, man, I can't afford, all this stuff. I can't afford to pay all this stuff off, whatever it's going to cost. It's not going to be just a little speeding ticket. It's going to be a lot of money probably. I was thinking. I didn't really know, because I never dealt with it before. So he was like, I'm tired of the aggressive driving. Comes up to my window. He's like, follow me down to the troop station. So I was like, oh man, this is bad. Like, I'm going to jail or something. That's what I thought. So I followed him down to the troop station, parked my car, and the troop followed him in, and I was sitting there at the front desk of the troop station, and they were, running my information there, telling, asking me where I live, all that stuff, my address, and a bunch of personal information. And I was just sitting there. I was like tearing up, to be honest, because Christmas was right around the corner, guys. It was, at that time, it's October when the first things happened, and it was a couple months later. It was like mid-November that the next things happened. So I had 9 charges pending on me, and Christmas was right around the corner, and I had no money, because I just spent all my money on this car recently, back then, and it was just a really bad time, bad situation. But I had to man up. I did wrong, so I had to deal with what I did, and I learned my lesson. So I had to go get a lawyer. I paid he was $3,000 for a lawyer. It wasn't too bad, I guess, for a lawyer, but it's a lot of money, guys, just to spend on something that, that shouldn't even happen. So yeah, spent $3,000 on the lawyer, and he told me that each thing, because I've already paid the very first ticket that I got, 60 and a 55. I paid that off immediately, because it was just like a quick, easy ticket to just get rid of, because it was, simple, and I didn't want all of those tickets like pending on me, which, now that I think back on it, I probably shouldn't have paid that off immediately, and I could have, probably gotten that knocked off of everything and not even had that. But if you pay something off like that, a speeding ticket, and just pay it, then you're charged with it basically, and it's going to be on your record that you're already charged for speeding, and it's basically pleading guilty if you don't challenge it. You know what I mean? So I already had that on my record. I already got, a couple points for that, or whatever it was, for 5 over and a 60 and a 55. He said for the next things, for both cases, the 5 charges the first time, the reckless driving, 98 mile an hour and a 55, all that on the first thing, it was $1,500 for that. And then the next case, I was late to work, it was $1,500 for that. So he was really good. He helped me out with it. I ended up getting, I think it was 4 points on my license for everything said and done. And yeah, including the ticket, the first ticket. So I got 1 point for the first ticket, the 60 and a 55, and then I got 3 points for all the other charges, the 98 and the 55 for the next one. So I had 4 points total. And then the very next thing that we got handled was the, I was late to work driving thing, the aggressive driving. Yeah, I learned my lesson, guys. Don't drive crazy. Aggressive driving, failing the signal, passing on a right, and following too closely. For all that, I got all that basically knocked out. I didn't get charged with anything. $3,400 probably with the lawyer, and then paying off the first thing. I was guilty of everything basically. I couldn't say I wasn't, so yeah. The second thing, it wasn't as bad, but still it was 4 charges, and I thought, for this 4 charges and just having, just the 4 points on my license, that was good enough. I was able to still keep my license, still be able to keep my insurance on my car. It didn't hike up like crazy, and I got it all dealt with. So just learn a lesson, boys. Don't drive crazy. Don't pull off from cops all crazy. Don't give them attitude. Just keep your mouth shut basically, and tell them you'll see them in court. So I appreciate everyone taking the time to hear my little rant, my story. If you guys ever have to deal with this, just keep your cool. I appreciate everyone taking the time to watch my video, even though it's a pretty boring one. It's just a little story time. So thank you, boys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out. Thanks for watching.